I wanted to study abroad for multiple reasons. The first reason was I didn't necessarily have a lot of support coming into college, so I wasn't too familiar with the different resources, the different opportunities that a college student can have. I didn't know that you could study abroad. Before college, I'd never stepped out of Denver.
I wanted to study abroad because I'm going into global health, and I think the Beijing program stood out to me just because it was so different, but it still had CU Denver professors, which I really liked because I love CU Denver, and so it had that familiarity, but I wanted to experience the difference in culture.
I studied abroad mostly because I wanted to get the language experience in China. Going to Beijing just made sense, because I get to learn the language, I get to see all of the different political, cultural, social, all these different types of things all around me.
So I think what I learned from my experience is not to make assumptions about people and just not to assume that I know the right way to do things, because the way to do things in America isn't necessarily the way to do things in China.
By being able to make that kind of commitment, to realize that going is much more beneficial than staying. It's a very good experience. It's very good for learning language. It's applicable, for resumes and things like that. All around, it's a good experience to have, and so I really wanted to have that. I found it really important, especially for my major.
I believe that one of the most valuable things with study abroad is it allows you to learn more about yourself. Because when you're removed from the context, when you're removed from your comfort zone, you're able to learn more about your strengths and your weaknesses. And that's just one of the things with study abroad. I was able to practice that skill and develop it, which will best align with my future career goals with working in international education and then just working with students from different cultures.
I think people should study abroad in Beijing just for the experience of a culture that's completely unlike ours, and you'll build relationships that you'll have for the rest of your life. I don't plan on ever losing connection with the people I went with.
It was just such a unique opportunity. When you return and you step out of that context, you're able to see immense growth. You're able to see change because you just had this extraordinary experience in another country. You're removed from your cultural context.
I think students should study abroad in Beijing, mostly because I think it's just the best way to test yourself, because the world isn't always going to be so bread and butter. You're not always just going to be able to sit at home and do your homework. You're going to be in an office, you're going to have to go on a business trip, you're going to be in a meeting, and you're going to have to talk on the spot. So I think that studying abroad is just an invaluable experience.